Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for being here this afternoon. So, welcome to our celebration of Dr. Bart Shanklin. As we planned this event, we had a little running joke that we'd try to keep it in under 3 hours because we knew that he'd get up and walk out after about 45 minutes. And so we've done our best to keep this at a Bart time because he would have appreciated that, I think. So, I have to tell you, this is all a little surreal to me still, Bart being gone and not here. I haven't quite come to grips with this, but I'm working on it. I keep looking for him in places where he's supposed to be. 3 to 4 times a day, he would stick his head in my office and say, "Do you have a minute? I got a story to tell you." And he would do this every single day. Some days he would come in looking for chocolate. Some days he'd come in for a conversation. Some days just for a break from all the stuff that he had to get done. But every day, he didn't miss a day. No matter what, no matter how happy he was, or frustrated, or pleased, or even occasionally angry he would be, that was the constant. He would always be in my office. He was desperately proud of the School of Music. All of you, faculty, staff, students, all you guys. He was proud of the excellence, proud of the effort that you put into everything, and proud of all the accomplishments that you guys did. So, he loved you guys a lot like family. And he was very proud to be the patriarch of this bunch. It's a Southern thing. Bart also loved to explore. I'd get weekend calls or occasional text from some place, and he'd say, "I'm in Wichita." I'm like, "What are you doing in Wichita?" He'd be at some historic site or doing some research, and he'd tell me to take my kids there for visits, or he'd show up on Monday morning with brochures about why it was I should take them there, or on occasion someplace I shouldn't take them. I'd get a recap of all, in great detail, of all the weekend's events and what he liked and what he didn't like. I'd also get stories of the farm. He loved that farm. Early on, when he was regaling me with tales of the bulldozer, it was an image I couldn't quite process in my head, Bart on a bulldozer. And so I said, "You're going to have to bring me a picture to prove this, because I don't believe this." And he said, "All right, fine." And so he showed up one Monday morning after he'd been in Tennessee for the weekend, and he showed me a picture on his phone. And I said, "That's not you." And he goes, "No, it's my brother Frank, but that's as good as it's going to get." I have to tell you, I talked about the occasional frustrations, and, anybody has them when you're leading a school this big and have all these things to do. Bart would tell me stories, and he's told some of you this, I know, that he would get on his bulldozer, and if he'd had a particularly rough week, he would name the trees after some of you, some of us, and he would bulldoze them over. And he took he savored that greatly and smiled that little sly smile of his and said, "Every time they snapped, I felt so much better." I wondered how many he named after me. And then there are his books, countless books. I used to have stacks that he would bring me. Eisenhower books, leadership books, books on health, of course, more Eisenhower books. He loved Eisenhower. I have a book he gave me just recently on being healthy, which I find incredibly ironic. And he also gave me recently, he brought in, and I forget where he'd been. He found it in a truck stop. It was 1,001 Jokes for Kids. And he brought them in for me to take home to my gang. And it sat in my office for about 2 weeks, and we would read them to each other and laugh hysterically because they were terribly bad jokes. And he would let out that sort of booming baritone laugh of his, and we would chuckle with the door closed, probably Louise wondering what in the world was going on inside there all the time. And he had that slight southern twang that he never could quite get rid of. Caint, I loved the caint. We sort of bonded early on because of our southern boys, him Tennessee and me Alabama. We always joked a little bit about two country boys being in a cornfield working at a place like this. But he loved working in his cornfield. And he cared deeply about people. And at times we sort of forget to be human around here sometimes, and Bart never did. And I said it before, and I mean it. He was a true Southern gentleman. And he was a great friend. So, it is my pleasure now to introduce to you Dr. James Stigall.
Would you please stand for the singing of Western Loyalty?
Before us Two people who worked very closely with Dr. Shanklin during his early time here at WIU were Dean Paul Kreider, Dean of the College of Fine Arts and Communication, and also Dr. Claudia McCain, who had been the head of our music business department here within the School of Music. They dearly wanted to be here. However, the travel situation didn't work out, and so they have sent letters to be a part of this celebration. First, we have a letter from Dr. Claudia McCain. She says, "Thank you for asking me to share some thoughts today. It is an honor. I was so disappointed to learn that Jim and I would be out of town during this memorial celebration. My thoughts and prayers continue to be with family and friends as you seek to process the events of the last few weeks and Bart's passing. I had the privilege of chairing the search committee that selected Bart as the first director of the School of Music, and I had the privilege of working with Bart his first 2 years in that position before my retirement in 2007. I remember a man for whom I had deep respect, someone with whom I could speak openly and freely, someone with whom I could share my frustrations, and someone I knew would maintain confidentiality. A very wise mentor once told me that chairing a music department is like herding cats. She says, during the year that I served as interim chair, I found that to be an understatement. At times, the cats became ferocious lions and tigers. Yet the rewards were many. I assume that is what Bart experienced as the director of the School of Music. She goes on to write, there is no doubt in my mind that during his career, Bart impacted a tremendous number of people, family and friends, students in his classes and ensembles, people he mentored over the years, colleagues with whom he served. They say, to teach is to touch a life forever. How true that is. In 1904, Bessie Anderson Stanley wrote a poem entitled, What is Success? I find it beautifully reflects the man I knew as Bart Shanklin. What is success? He has achieved success who has lived well, laughed often, and loved much, who has enjoyed the trust of women, the respect of intelligent men, and the love of little children, who has filled his niche and accomplished his task, who has never lacked appreciation of earth's beauty or failed to express it, who has left the world better than he found it, whether an improved poppy, a perfect poem, or a rescued soul, who has always looked for the best in others and given them the best he had, whose life was an inspiration, whose memory a benediction. Family, friends, students, and colleagues, my thoughts and prayers remain with you. Sincerely, Reverend Claudia McCain, Emeritus Professor of Music and Music Business at Western Illinois University and Associate Pastor at the First Baptist Church of Macomb.
Cold blows the winter drives the rain, and my roof is in the dust. Loved of wise men was the shade of my roof tree, the true word of welcome was spoken in the door. Dear days of old, with the faces in the firelight, kind folks of old, you come again no more. Home was home then, my dear, full of kindly faces. Home was home then, my dear, happy for the child. Fire and the windows bright glittered on the moorland. Song, tuneful song, built a palace in the wild. Now when day dawns on the brow of the moorland, lone stands the house, and the chimney stone is cold. Lone let it stand now, the friends are all departed. The kind hearts, the true hearts that love the place of old. Spring shall come again, calling up the moorfowl. Spring shall bring the sun and rain, bring the bees and flowers. Red shall the heather bloom over hill and valley. Soft flow the stream through the even flowing hours. Fair the day shine as it shone on my childhood. Fair shine the day on the house with open door. Birds come and cry there, and twitter in the chimney. But I go forever, and come again no more.
Our second letter is from Dr. Paul Kreider, who is currently Dean of the College of Fine Arts at West Virginia University, and who is the Dean of the College of Fine Arts and Communication here at WIU at the time Dr. Shanklin spent his first years. In remembrance of Dr. Bart Shanklin, dear colleagues of the College of Fine Arts and Communication, I am sorry I am unable to attend the celebration today as you honor the life and contributions of Bart Shanklin. No doubt you were all stunned and devastated as I was to learn of the passing of our dear friend and colleague. Thank you to Dean Clow and all participants for honoring Bart today with this special celebration. We all will remember Bart in our own unique way. I am confident that whether you remember Bart as a colleague, a teacher, a supervisor, a friend, or as all of the above, you will have never known a man more thoughtful and fair as Bart. I remember Bart Shanklin in several ways. First, Bart was an excellent teacher, not only a choral teacher, but also an exceptional voice teacher. Years ago, a student came to study with me who was excellently prepared for graduate vocal study. I was always impressed with how Bart's students performed in the National Association of Teachers of Singing competitions each year. I will remember Bart as a strong music administrator, a consummate observer who knew the value of listening and understanding others. He learned people's strengths and how to build achievements around those strengths. He was soft-spoken and was rarely angry. He served faculty with thoughtful dedication. I will remember how his experience as a NASM, that's National Association of Schools of Music, team visitor on accreditation, and how this assured WIU School of Music would always meet those standards. I will remember how Bart championed for you, the students and faculty he served. He never hesitated to come to my office during the 6 years we worked together to advocate, as well as to relay your many accomplishments. He was proud and supported each one of you. I will always remember Bart as a man who loved numbers or data. Every once in a while, he would appear at my office door like a mathematician with figures that supported his ideas, decisions, and needs. He was like a kid with a great sense of accomplishment. Through Bart, I learned the power of data and to not make hasty decisions. His contemplative and analytical style rubbed off on me, and I am grateful. I will also remember Bart's dry sense of humor. In administrative meetings, he always knew when to crack jokes. The jokes were good ones, and his sense of humor and timing were exceptional. Finally, I will remember Bart as a health enthusiast. This is the reason that I, like each of you, are stunned by his passing. During lunches, we always talked about diet and health issues. It seemed his hobby was reading articles and books about health. I am grateful to him for challenging me to get a standing desk. For 5 years now, I have had that desk. I love it and can't thank him enough for making me more health conscious. I fully believe he would outlive me. Bart, please know you have impacted many lives through your calm, analytical, positive, dignified, and nurturing leadership. You have touched my life in more ways than I can say. Bart, thanks for reminding me that life is short, time is precious, and that expressions of kindness and caring are the only things in life that count. Thank you, most of all, for being my friend. We all shall miss Bart Shanklin.
After every concert, Dr. Shanklin would come back here and he would talk about the concert. Last year, about this time, we did a concert about water. And one of the aspects of water was water as a river. And it really surprised me when he came up and said, "James, this is my favorite hymn of all time, and I'm glad you did it." And for that, we're going to dedicate this song. Thank you, Bart, for all your leadership.
Thank
I think as this is a celebration, we ought to give some applause for everybody who's performed for us today. Bear with me a second. I want to thank a couple of people. The group that put together today's ceremony did an outstanding job. They really came together. They worked with everybody. They got everything moving. And I just want to thank Mike Erickson, Courtney Blankenship, Joni Herbert, and Miranda Faust. Thank you, guys. So, I want to thank Moises for everything he's done in the past couple of weeks, for being able to go down to Tennessee to be at the funeral, for being in Iowa City, so there was somebody by Bart's side, for the stories that he shared with me over the last couple of weeks. He came in this morning and was just sitting there, and we were talking and telling stories, and it's just been really nice, so thank you, Moises, for that. I want to thank, actually, the entire School of Music. You guys have been really amazing. I'm really proud of the way you've handled this, the way you've reacted, the way you've treated everybody. It makes me proud, too, to be able to be your dean. Everybody's been really, truly beautiful. I think I'm probably going to embarrass her a little bit, but Tammy, you're sitting in the back there. Can you stand up for just a second? This woman has done amazing work, and I think we cannot let it go without thanking her for everything she has done in the past 2 years. As soon as we're finished, please, if you want to, hang out in the lobby or go outside, it's a beautiful day. We're going to have a reception from 4 to 6 p.m. over in the art gallery. There'll be refreshments and opportunities, a little more performance and some opportunities for people to just sit and be together and share. It's open anytime, so if you feel like going over there when you leave here, that's totally fine. They know that we may be coming in, storming the castle, so they're ready for us. You're welcome anytime. Okay, I have to share one last story. Early on in my first semester here, I was at a performance here in this hall. And I don't remember why, but I had to get out early for something, another thing I had to get to or whatever it was. And so I sat in the back, and as soon as the show was over, I got up, ran out the door. And the next morning, I'm sitting there, Bart is in my office, as he was like to be. And in his sort of gentle, persuasive way, he looked at me and he goes, I had to stand up last night at the recital. I said, you did? Why'd you do that? He said, because someone was sitting in my seat. And I said, really? And he goes, yes, you were in my seat. And I said, oh, I was. I didn't know you had a seat. And he always sat in N2 back here in the corner. And so I said, well, I got there first. And I never sat in that seat again. Now we have a plaque on the back of the chair in Bart's honor, and that will forever be Bart's chair. So, and he would have hated that too. Thank you all for coming today. I really appreciate it. Please join us this afternoon if you can, and if not, don't let this be the last time you think about it, about how we've treated each other in the past couple of weeks, how important it is to be human beings, and how that we love Bart. Thank you all.